Alright, let's take a look at the new Pro Rifle Clamp Tripod Mount from Vortex. This was sent to me through Vortex and Expert Voice to test out. So let's take a look at it. Product manual, as you might expect. Over here we've got a couple different Allen wrenches, a few different sizes so that you can make adjustments. And here is the clamp itself. They say this is made out of magnesium, so it's going to be pretty strong while still being fairly lightweight. You get a really large throw lever. You can pull it out and adjust it so that it stops where you want it to, out of the way. Notice you get nice rubber grip on both sides and the base of the channel. On the bottom here, it is set up so that it will mount in an arca mount. So if you're already using an arca mount on your tripod, or you have it for other accessories, you're going to be able to use it on this. It looks like there's also a threaded tripod mount in the center. So if you don't have an arca rail, it looks like you don't have to worry, you can still get that mounted. There are a couple additional threaded holes. You'll notice where the bolts are, it's threaded to both sides. So there may be some additional adjustment you can make with that. So according to the Vortex specs, this weighs about 14.4 ounces, so just under a pound. This does feel pretty hefty and solid for its size. That's been one of my complaints with some of the early clamps, is it seemed like they were made out of plastic or just had a somewhat of flimsy feel to them. This one, for the size, it doesn't feel overly heavy, but it feels quite solid. They say the max load is 44 pounds. I would suggest you be careful depending on what tripod you have, because a lot of the tripods are not necessarily rated to hold that much weight. So you could be limited based on the tripod, not on this mount itself. Opening width is supposed to be 1.3 inches to 3.2. We'll show some video a little bit later as we test it out. I'm going to try it on everything from a pretty narrow 22 long rifle to some of the larger competition style rifles I have. But as you can see, it does seem to be a pretty good adjustment distance. I do like as it screws out, you're able to see that it comes out from both sides at one time. So hopefully that'll help with balance. Once you get it centered on the tripod, you should be able to get the weight balanced in the center pretty good. The overall height is about 3.4 inches. Width on the outside is 4.3 to 5.9. As you open it up, 3 inches long. Mount type is either Arca Swiss or a 3/8 by 16 hole, which I believe a standard tripod thread mount is a 1/4 by 20. So that's going to be a little bit bigger, may not fit on all tripods. Let's go ahead and take a look at some actual field use. Got it mounted on a couple different rifles to try it out. So currently I'm a big fan of the arca mounts. I have a couple rifles where I specifically bought a stock that had the arca mount, like my precision rifle has an MDT chassis with the arca on it. So generally that is my preference. I like being able to lock it up nice and secure. I've also added arca rails to a couple different chassis, Christensen arms. I added it to another MDT chassis that I have. But there is also some advantage of having a clamp style where you don't have to either buy an additional stock, modify your current stock, or if you just want to have some flexibility. The nice thing with something like this is I'll be able to use the tripod with other rifles that I'm not going to bother putting a mount on. You'll see little Savage 22 rifle that I have. It's got a very basic stock on it. I will probably leave it that way as just a lightweight plinker rifle. This is often the one if I'm introducing somebody to shooting, or somebody has younger kids that want to go out and try shooting. This is one of the rifles I like to use because you can put a suppressor on it and it is nice, lightweight, fairly small. So it's just very convenient to introduce somebody to shooting or to take small game hunting when you don't want a lot of weight. So one thing to keep in mind as you clamp this down on the rifle is what kind of stock you're clamping it down on and how much pressure you're putting on it. So heavier stocks or the fiberglass molded stocks will probably be okay clamping this down quite a bit, but you might want to be careful with some older wood stocks or cheaper stocks because they may flex or even crush if you squeeze it down too much. So far, with a little bit of use on this, I am impressed with how it seems to work pretty well. I'm definitely going to continue testing it out, hopefully use it a little bit hunting later this year. Let me know what your questions or thoughts on this. Do you prefer to have an arca mount? Do you like to have a clamp style mount that's more versatile? Or is there another way that you like to use on the tripod? I know some of the current precision shooters are actually just using a big platform with a sandbag. So there's a couple different ways to shoot off a tripod. I do think it is nice to have some options. All right, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below.